How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. We are reacting to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 13, One of Us. One of Us being, I assume, Raina. From her perspective, probably going to be a lot of Raina focus in this episode. Occasionally cutting back to Skye being in quarantine and them talking to her. But I assume primarily big chunk of the episode is going to be about the Inhumans. Let's just call them that. We also haven't seen Ward in a long time. I didn't think about that. Okay, this discussion is going to be a fucking long one. I have spent hours and hours taking all these notes. This is like my outline alone for my notes for this discussion is about 2,000 words, and that's just the outline. It's gonna be a long discussion. If you have anything to comment about this discussion, please timestamp your comment. That's just good advice for any video that you expect the creator to respond to you on. Always timestamp whatever you're commenting on in the video, because I mean, at least me personally, and I know plenty of others, put out so much content that it's hard to remember exactly what we said, what the wording was, and all that stuff. So please be sure to timestamp your comment if you are talking about something that I've said in this discussion. But okay, that said, let's jump into it. Let's start with the light stuff to ease our way into this. So first off, Coulson, seeming like he's just like an expert cook based off all the times that we've seen him making something for a member of the crew. And it's really nice to see that very, like, sweet, homely side of him. He, as always, just making being the perfect dad for the whole team. But I mean, really, just Skye in general now. He was feeling a lot more like the father of the crew originally, but now everybody's so just like distanced from each other. But yeah, making breakfast in bed for her, perfect Coulson move. Fitz took a full 31 seconds to type 100 on the microwave. Like, I know you got brain damage, Fitz, but come on, dude. That is abysmal reaction time. Turbo really feels like an insult now. And we finally got to see May's ex-husband, Andrew. Got to see why they were together in the first place, or like, not we got to see it, but like I can see it. You know, Skye was like saying that, oh, she can see why they're together because they're both, you know, never talk, and or not they never talk, but they're both very serious and you know, keep it just to the basics of what is needed for the conversation. But and I do agree, they're logical, they're stoic, but at the same time, Andrew seems rather like extroverted and a lot more. I don't know. Yeah, just a lot more openly kind. Like, May is definitely still as nice as he is. She just really tries to not let that out to the surface. But yeah, well, May is a lot more like introverted and quiet, and they both have a really good sense of humor, though. To be fair, just rarely ever get to see that side of May. With her like actually laughing, and not just doing like a, you know, smirk or something. We also find out that May loves Vegas, which I did say last episode that I bet she's like an adrenaline junkie. You know, if she wasn't in S.H.I.E.L.D, I bet she would just get her kicks out of doing adrenaline junkie shit. And I wonder if, you know, she actually gets a kick out of gambling. Maybe. And yeah, so Andrew has moved on, but May seems to have not. She's got those lingering glances as he was leaving, the whole picture frame that she was really focused on and everything. She realizes that he's able to move on and have this person who he's doing all this for, and you know, he left S.H.I.E.L.D. because he cares about her and all that. Whereas with May, she does not want to settle down with anyone. She's acting. She said it many times in which she can't be that anymore. And even like the thing with Ward, it was a fling, and regardless of all the, you know, Hydra shit aside, she was never, you know, when she didn't know any of that, she couldn't treat the relationship as its own thing. She constantly was chiding him for protecting her and, you know, treating her like he was, like exactly how Andrew is treating his girlfriend right now. But I think she's realizing that maybe it's not such a bad idea after all. Coulson. So I guess let's we got a lot of the light stuff out of the way. Let's move on to the more heavy stuff. Let's talk about Skye. So as we've seen throughout the whole series, using humor and sarcasm and everything to deflect away from the emotional pain and the distrust she has for everyone. And that's, not helping, considering her ability is triggered by mental pain and everything. So, yeah. The kind of person that she is, the kind of person who's always, I don't want to say overthinking, because she's certainly not overthinking it, but, where the stuff just races through her mind all the time, and it has been since, like, the beginning of the series. Not the specific stuff, but, I mean, just panicking about fitting in and trusting and what's going to happen to her if blah, 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 blah. Like, this has just been a kind of mentality that she's had for a long time, so having an ability that's triggered by it, it's not great. And it doesn't seem like tremors is going to be the operative word we're using for this ability, so that's what I'm just going to be sticking with for now. And Andrew did call it, saying that she was just pushing it aside, like she wasn't actually controlling it, she was just pushing it aside, and the tremors were leaking out during her sleep and stuff like that, and they were, she wasn't controlling it, she was just forcing it inwards. And yeah, like her mental state right now, just with thinking she's going to lose her agent status and all that, thinking she's going to lose her, essentially, family here, I mean, they basically are, after she already lost her real family, like, she spent this whole time searching for a real family, now she's going to lose her second family, just knowing that she's going to be sedated or caged or fucking put down or trained to be stronger, there's so much, there's not a good outcome here, and she can see that, there's no good outcome for her, and, the dream she had of looking through her rifle and then being on the other side of her rifle, just like literally exactly what happened with Donnie, I mean, not like teleporting behind the lens or anything, but you know what I mean, like calling back to when she had to put down Donnie and everything, and man, did not have to go down like that. I mean, it did. I mean, like, she's thinking of it the same way, like, if I'm brainwashed, they're gonna just have to put me down. Like, what's gonna happen if someone were to take control of her mind? What's gonna fucking stop him from somebody pissing her off and her just, destroying the place around them? Like, she kind of already has been within, like, the last episode. I mean, it's just been breaking the glass, but what about when it gets worse, I can't help but think about the boys with, like, what if you're fucking her and she just orgasms and destroys all your bones? I don't know how we're gonna deal with this, because it doesn't seem dealable right now. There's no outcome to fix this. She can't control it. She can't. It's gotta go in or out one way. It's gotta go in or out. So where's it gonna fucking go? Next time it triggers, I don't know, man. Like, Skye, I fucking love. She is my sweet, precious girl that I want to protect, but not at all costs. I love Skye. She is a cinnamon roll. I adore her, but there comes a point where it's like, if this is just going to be destroying everything around her, you gotta put the world ahead of one person. But I mean, we'll let it get to that state. Don't preemptively do it like fucking Simmons wants to do. Which, speaking of which, Coulson wanting Simmons to now look into the Inhumans in secret and try to find a way to put them down if necessary. Find a way, he says, like they can't just shoot them in the head with a bullet with a gun. I'm pretty sure that's gonna work just fine. It has worked for Donnie. I mean, nothing. Donnie was not Inhuman, sure, but like, why would this not work on Skye? Right? Just be far enough away with the bullets. She's not like Creel. She's not gonna tremor the bullet. I mean, maybe, but I don't think that's gonna. I can't imagine how that would happen. Gordon, I guess, could teleport away from it, or something. But, man, like, if they can tell, how am I trying to put this? If a bullet can't get them, what the fuck can? Right? Like, if they can outrun a bullet, or they can dodge a bullet, they can teleport away from a bullet, what else, what are you gonna get them with? So, I don't know what the hell she's gonna make, but I wouldn't blame Skye if she started seeking help from Skye, from Cal and the Inhumans. I mean, I would not blame her at all. I can totally understand why she would want to do that at this point. Makes complete sense. Honestly, I'm kind of for. I'm not even gonna go as far as say I wouldn't blame her. I'm saying go for it. Fucking run, girl. Get the hell out of here. Go to safety. These guys probably can protect you. So, Bobby, Mac, and Hunter. They got Hunter locked up. They had him locked up in a fucking bathroom because they didn't know what to do with him. They were just like, oh shit, this all happened so fast. I guess we're just taking him in and telling him everything. But it does seem like Bobby, no one of the crews right now seems to actually like Bobby at all. I'm surprised, but yeah, everyone just seems to be like, no one's having normal conversations. They're all annoyed or they're suspicious. Or I don't want to say they are, like, they sound annoyed. They're not like superly outwardly annoyed, but they sound annoyed. They sounded like they just want to get back to their work, like Simmons, or like Skye was very suspicious of her and stuff. And anybody she's talking to just either seems suspicious or annoyed of her. And Mac has just not really talked to anybody besides Fitz. So he had that whole outburst earlier. And yeah, Hunter said that Dubai was a cover, but a cover for what? Because that would have all have to have happened before the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it can't be a cover for new S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's a different cover for something else. I don't know. But let's talk about new S.H.I.E.L.D. They've got the 3 stars. They've got the original S.H.I.E.L.D. That Captain America had in his like very first issue. And it seems like it's, supposed to be following Cap's ideals. It's got the S.H.I.E.L.D., it's got the stars. But I don't know. I get it in the terms of, yeah, destroy all the shit. Don't look into it. Don't be doing the, stuff like what Project Insight was supposed to be originally with Fury and stuff. Like, sure, I get those ideals and why they would be following them. But they're also in a very, just kill anybody with powers. Put them all down. Which is definitely not what Captain America was about. So, I'm interested to see what they really, what their true ideals are and how it differs from Coulson. Because they don't seem to be that much different from Coulson. I mean, Coulson's also going around destroying all this shit and stuff like that. If it's just like, yeah, well, we don't like Coulson. I get it, but it's also is it really just that? Their ideals don't seem that different. They just seem to have a problem with Coulson's leadership of all. But yeah. I don't. Anybody else who could be involved has either got, as I said, either Agent Weaver or Agent Blake. I can't imagine anybody else that would be, in terms of people who were still related to S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, even just in terms of people in the show, I can't imagine anybody else is going to be involved with it. Whew. Okay, that was a hell of a lot. But let's now dive into the Index. Let's talk about the Index. Found out that the Index is basically just a watch list. You don't even need to have powers to be on it at all. Which, okay, sure, fine, I get it. You don't need powers to be on the Index. It's just for dangerous people that are dangerous in a way that's not normally criminal, right? A way that is abnormally criminal, like being a super genius or something, I guess. I mean, he didn't seem to be like a super genius. He just was a genius with no morality. So, no, I take it back. It's not okay, fine. It's weird. It's fucking weird. I don't get it. Mentally unstable people. But I mean, moving aside from that, let's mentally unstable people from the Index are at this S.H.I.E.L.D. owned level of the psych ward. Why? Why do they have to have their own level? Why? Why is it different? Like, what makes it different from the Force above? Why does it need to be S.H.I.E.L.D. owned? There's 2 fucking people in it. 2 people are these mentally unstable people. Only 2. There's only 2 in existence, apparently, of these mentally unstable people. Who, by the way, are not like non-powered mentally unstable people or something. They're not powered mentally unstable people. It's not, I don't even know why the fuck these 2 specifically are down here with John Bruno and David A. Angar. Why the fuck are these 2 down there? Because, okay, with David Angar. I mean, well, no, not with David Angar. David Angar is mentally unstable, but fucking Wendell, I don't like food Levy is? Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? No. Bullshit. Like, John Bruno, okay, sure, mentally unstable. I get it. But David Angar does not seem mentally unstable, especially compared to fucking Wendell. Fucking... Thankfully, Simmons wants to classify all these different types of gifted individuals because they're so fucking broad, in terms of, we have the enhanced, which are man-made powers, or the other, which is from birth, which I mean, like, we don't really have that yet, in my opinion. I think that's going to mainly not happen because of the whole, like, they don't have the rights to X-Men's and X-Men's. They don't have the right to X-Men, or right now. I think they might get the rights later or something. But right now, at the term of when this came out, at least, didn't have the rights to X-Men or the term mutants. I'm not sure if they have the term mutants or not, but I know they don't have X-Men. So I assume that's like a big distinction of like the mutants are people who have powers from birth. Like the Inhumans, it's not powers from birth. They are special from birth, but they don't have abilities from birth. They have to go through a transformation first. Because as of this point, we have not had any confirmed case of powers from birth. I have been talking about this shit since Iron Man. Like, this has been the thing I've been obsessed with, so I'm very glad we're getting into it and talking about it. Because, yeah, I'm just absolutely obsessed with the timeline of powers, as I call it, essentially. But, yeah, I just... everything regarding S.H.I.E.L.D. and these indexed people is infuriating. Like, the more we see of it, and I know it's not supposed to be a thing of we're supposed to fully root for S.H.I.E.L.D., right? S.H.I.E.L.D. has always been morally gray. But there's getting to a point where it's just becoming black. It's just becoming black. Like, I mean, we'll get to the actual, the index people, David Angar and stuff like that, the powered ones. But fucking John Bruno is, let me scroll down here real quick. Military assassin, obsessed with finding ways to kill. Throw him in prison! Throw him in fucking prison! What is wrong with you? S.H.I.E.L.D., what? Throw him in prison! He killed people! What are you doing? I mean, okay, sure, like, okay, well, he's mentally unstable. Then throw him in a maximum security psych ward, which he is. Why is he on a special S.H.I.E.L.D. level? What? He's just like... what? Yeah, we're gonna go through all the people on the index, just like across S.H.I.E.L.D.'s whole history from season 1 till now. We're gonna start with just this episode, but eventually I want to go through the rest of them. And I want to play judge, jury, and executioner for these people, acting as a better S.H.I.E.L.D., in my opinion. You know, I want to give them a real just sentence. But let's be real, I am in no way qualified to be talking about mental health or sentencing people to prison or anything like that. This is a fun thing we're doing, okay? It's just for fun. Let's all remember that. So, we're going to be talking about their major crimes. I'm excluding stuff like destruction of property, breaking and entering, just small shit like that, you know. I'm going to excuse all of that. They should get the normal amount of prison time for it, blah, blah, blah. You get it. But I'm going to give them a rough estimate of their mental state, just in terms of, like, trying to say, you know, are they unstable? Are they neutral? Are they healthy? Are they whatever? They're murderous? Whatever. Then I'm going to read them the sentence. So, we're going to get started with the big man Cal. I'm going to take a break for a second, get a drink, and we're not even halfway, I don't think. Okay, so let's talk about the big man in charge, Cal. Every single episode since his introduction, I feel like he has risen a tier higher on my favorite characters list. Seriously, every single time, especially this episode because he got such a big focus, and I keep worrying that they're going to kill him off quickly or something. I'm hoping that he's gonna stick around for at least the rest of the season. But yeah, I keep worrying they're gonna kill off something because he's such a good actor that I assume he has to be a big name actor. He's so good. Like, he's just as hyper as a third grader and has this immense joy for life that is unparalleled to anybody else. The fact that he has the mood flips and everything helps the fact that he can go from being this super goofy, just idiot. I don't want to say idiot, like just very forgetful kind of goofball to playing the straight man or very serious kind of character. He can just flip between them, and it feels so natural because of his mood swaps already. So yeah, just Kyle MacLachlan is a fucking master at portraying this character, making you feel human, like incredibly human, overly human, and just the expressiveness that he carries on his face. Love it. Love Cal so much. So much. And so yeah, we finally figured out what happened to him. Not an inhuman. He changed himself with chemistry. And he is still working on the formula, whether, I'm not sure if he means on himself, or if he's just tweaking the formula to try and make it better in general for somebody, for himself, which could be dope, because then I assume later in the season he's going to get a lot stronger. He might try and use it to make an army or something. I doubt the latter. It would probably be the former. He would probably perfect it, whatever. Perhaps. And yeah, so he only wanted to shed light on S.H.I.E.L.D's crimes against humanity. They were not planning on killing anybody here. I mean, they killed the one person, but aside from the one person they killed, which is, saying, aside from the one person they killed, it's a bad thing to have to say, but, I do want to point that out. I do want to point out that, yeah, they never planned to even really hurt anybody here, aside from the one guy they killed. But, yeah, David Angar, his thing was, I'm not sure I say his full name every time. His vocal cords rendered them catatonic, but that's not like, they weren't like injured in any way. They were just asleep. And it's not like they were catatonic. They weren't like in a coma, or they weren't like, paralyzed, or, I mean, I guess that's basically what catatonic is. But, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a physical, like their muscles were, being like taut or something, because that could do a lot of lasting damage. But this didn't even seem to be like normal catatonia. They weren't like, twitching out or anything. They weren't having like a almost seizure. They just went out, just lights out. So just basically made them all pass out for a long period of time until I'm not sure when it would be lifted. I assume it's just like a plot, thing of they'll wake up when they need to wake up. So I don't think it's any, crazy thing of, they're never gonna wake up. But yeah, so just basically put him to sleep. And again, when he was gonna call out on the mic and everything, it would just put a ton of people to sleep. That would do a lot of fucking damage, to be fair. Would it? Who's listening to sports radio? No one's listening to the sports radio at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever the fuck time it was. It was super late. That was the time I was writing this thing. But anyway, it was super late. But yeah, so I don't think anybody that was doing anything important was listening to that. It's not like anybody's, operating some heavy machinery of listening to sports radio and fucking AM. And so, yeah, he said that we took their potential and contained it, inhibited it. Coulson says to criminals. That they do that to criminals. And I would argue you do it to more than criminals. And we'll get to that as we go through the index. Again, we're going to be going through all these people, so we'll get to it eventually. I'm not going to try and list them all right now. But keep this in mind. Coulson says, we only do this to criminals. So, I mean, he's right in the sense that they've done it to people who have always been criminal in some form or another. But there's a stretch. There's a stretch to what you're allowed to, do to a criminal. And to what kinds of criminals. There are varying degrees. You can't just say criminal. That covers a large range of people, Coulson. But anyway. So, Cal. Let's talk about it. His big crimes. That's like my catchphrase. Let's talk about it. Big crimes. First degree murder of 2 criminals. The ones during his first introduction. Plotting. Well, they were 2 criminals, but they were plotting murder. So, I'm gonna forgive him on that one. That one's okay. Second degree murder of Hydra agents in self-defense. Self-defense, it's okay. Second degree murder of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in self-defense. Self-defense, we're gonna allow it. He was an accomplice, though, to all the other Index people's crimes post-breakout. And that's what's really getting him here. The first degree murder of Carla. The attempted first degree murders of just all of them on the football field and stuff like that. Well, I'm not sure if they were first degree murders, attempted first degree murders aside from Carla. I'm not sure if, for example, Noche was trying to kill May. But and then the whole mass Catania Screech, not a huge deal, but still something that he would have to be responsible for as an accomplice. So, and his mental state is quite unstable. I'm gonna say because of his powers and everything like that, you're gonna have to put him in a maximum security psych ward. Not the S.H.I.E.L.D. owned level, just a normal ass maximum security fucking psych ward. I'm sorry. I did want to root for Cal because he's not bad at all. He has not really done anything wrong. I just get that, he did have the attempted first degree murder of Coulson and the attempted first degree murder of Whitehall. Whitehall being a literal Nazi, not a neo-Nazi, not something like that. A literal 100% Nazi. Forgiven on that one. The Coulson one, it's something that they should still probably go to jail for, but it's something that you understand. In an ideal world, he wouldn't go to jail for it. In the same way that in an ideal world, a father beating the shit out of an abuser to his daughter or something shouldn't have to go to jail. This is like a rapist towards a daughter or something. That sort of thing. Even though a lot of times they will go to jail just for some brief sentence or something. And I guess I do agree with that. As long as it's a light, very light thing. Because, there still does need to be consequences. But, yeah. I'm not forgiving his attempted murder of Coulson. But, at the same time, we don't know that he's exactly trying to kill Coulson. We know that he wants Skye back. We know that he wants to make Coulson's life hell. But we don't know that he wants to kill Coulson. Because he has not tried. He could have easily at any point, but he has not. Here, definitely. He could have just, sniped him if he wanted to. He could have just had David do the fucking Screech thing when they showed up, and they would have passed out, and then he could have fucking killed him. It would be easy peasy, but he hasn't because he doesn't want to kill him. So, I'm gonna actually scratch that first degree murder of, attempted first degree murder of Coulson. I'm gonna scratch that. But yeah, so, really it seems like their main plan here was just to let the world know about the indexed people, what happens to them, what's going on with them, because they didn't all get out during the Hydra raids of the fridge and all that. All those people got out, but the people who were just in you know, who S.H.I.E.L.D. tucked away in hidden places like the fucking psych ward in the bottom secret lair with 2 people. But okay, that's Coulson's. Let's move on. Carla Faye Gideon. She worked in a medical lab with her abusive ex. She permanently grafted razors, defo not razors, under her fingers. That shit is not razors. That is, I don't know what that is. It's just like, it is a steel blade, but that is not a razor. Nowhere near as sharp. And yeah, they say they're permanently grafted. Permanently grafted. I'm calling fucking bullshit on that. We got a close-up of them. It's a fucking flathead screw. A flathead screw is not permanent. Grab a fucking screwdriver, take the fucking things off, and toss her ass in prison. Like, let's pretend that it is permanently grafted on there. Just ungrafted. I don't care. Rip it off, saw it off, cut it off, whatever the fuck you gotta do. Don't just leave it on there. What's wrong with you, S.H.I.E.L.D? Side note, side tangent. TV is always being very meta about what's going on with her and her relationship with her boyfriend and all that, and feeling like, you know, she was a burden and unloved and everything now. Probably back then as well, but I assume now as well with the whole finger blades that S.H.I.E.L.D's like, oh, no, sorry, we don't know how to unscrew. Yeah, so like she did seem like she was getting better and being rehabilitated and stuff like that, but then she did just go along with Cal's plans. But at the same time, can you blame her? She's crazy. I think she's the most fucking crazy of the ones here, but going along with Cal, like, dude, I'd be like, yeah, fucking get this shit off my fingers! Which he didn't do, but, you know. So, I don't know. Maybe she is actually, you know what? Fuck it, I take it back. No, she is crazy. Because, yeah, she didn't even care about getting it off her fingers. Didn't even care. So, let's talk about her crimes. 2 counts, first-degree murder. The boyfriend, again, if it was a light sentence, sure. Forgive it, give her a very light sentence. But then the guard on top of that, nope. 25 to life. I mean, that's what you get, 25 to life. There's also an unspecified number of first and second degree murders, so there was the attempted murder of Bobby, the only one of them who definitely was attempting to murder. She does seem rehabilitatable, to be fair, but, you know, my sentence is still, take the fucking nails off, throw her ass in prison. I mean, first of all, she fucking murdered people. Like, she's at home. Why was she at home? She murdered people.
Take this man to the infinite labyrinth of eternal ice.
Yeah! No! Take him to the police. He murdered someone. Take him to jail. You guys are weird.
S.H.I.E.L.D. Why? You put other people away in locked ass cages. Woman murdered many people, apparently. So, I'm giving her 25 to life. No potential for parole. And you know what? It depends on how many people she's killed. The unspecified number of first and second degree murders could have been in self-defense. I don't know. I doubt it. But yeah, if it's that's my rule. If it's double digits, fucking kill her. Death sentence. Next, Wendell Levy. Genius, no morality. Only ever spoke twice, not liking the food, not wanting to be chipped again. So, 2 things in life that he cares the most about. Not liking food and not wanting to be around tech and stuff again. And once again, we never saw him hurt anybody. Seems like he just leaked S.H.I.E.L.D. info or was just considered dangerous by S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that. It doesn't seem like he ever actually hurt anybody. So, big crimes. Some conspiracy thing maybe, I don't know. Mental state, he has no morality. Symptoms. I'm gonna say just monitor him. Keep tabs on him. Like, that's it. You know, don't like chip him with like a monitoring chip or anything. Don't chip him with a chip that's gonna keep him away from tech and shit like that. Just monitor him, alright? I don't have enough evidence to go off of. So this is my sentence based off of what I have knowledge of, right? So, that's my sentence based off the knowledge I have. Francis Noche. He was a mob enforcer. Took experimental steroids. They put him in a cage for 3 years, put him on meds, keep him docile. But he doesn't even have anger issues. He's normal. He's just a dumb, strong guy. Like, we don't lock up fucking... If the argument is like, oh, well, they're not going to, like, you know, stop him if he gets out of hand, they can't, like, wrestle him to the ground or anything like that. You can't wrestle a fucking bodybuilder to the ground. You're going to try and take on a fucking bodybuilder? Like, imagine if there was, like, one of the mobsters was one of those huge fucking, like, 400 pounds of muscle dudes. You're still going to put him in prison, because that's where they belong. In prison. I want to say that, by the way, I don't mean just guys with a lot of muscles. I meant, you know, people who do criminal activities. So, his big crimes. Various criminal activities while he was an enforcer of the mob. Mental state. Pretty neutral. Sentence? Sentence him to prison like a normal fucking person. And again, if he's saying he's gonna break out or something like that, he can just open up the bars and whatever. He's not immune to bullets, okay? The bullets aren't gonna bounce off. His skin's not fucking metal. He's fine. He knows what's gonna happen if he tries to run away. They're gonna shoot him. Just like any other fucking prisoner. Okay. We've already talked about John Bruno, so... Well, actually, I didn't do this. Okay, so big crimes. I'm assuming many first-degree murders. They didn't actually say it. They said he was obsessed with killing... Or, obsessed with finding... what was the exact... Obsessed with finding ways to kill. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he was killing. So, I'm going to assume that he had many first-degree murders, but it could have just been an obsession. So, his mental state is very unstable. And my sentence is, if over 10 first-degree murders, death sentence. If under 10 first-degree murders, 25 to life, no parole. If it was just an obsession and he never actually acted on it, then just sentence him for the attempted murder on Bobby, because we still have that to deal with. Yeah, just sentence him for his normal-ass crimes. So, David A. Angar. He had his vocal cords exposed to experimental energy blasts to reduce the tumors, but they shrunk the tumors and also gave his voice this superpower with the catatonic state blast. Which, by the way, seems like it did more than just shrink the tumors. It also extended his jaw. Distended his... What was that word? Distended or... I don't know. But, yeah. Completely disconnected that jawline. Don't know how that happened. And when he first did the like, scream, using the birds in the sky, like, falling down, and then the birds in the distance still being fine, was a great way to show, like, the range of it. Like, it's big enough to reach the birds right above the field, but it's not large enough to... It's not, like... The sound isn't traveling far enough to reach the birds down there in the distance. So, that was a really cool effect. And yeah, once again, he ran for the gun instead of just screaming, because he didn't want to, like, just put them all in catatonic state and then kill them. They wanted them awake because he wanted information out of them. They wanted them to be there when they let everybody know about S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything like that. And I do think that him about to scream was... I think they were trying to bluff and S.H.I.E.L.D. was not calling it. But yeah, so, big crimes. None. Like, none. We haven't seen any. None. Yeah, none. I mean, the mass catatonia thing, sure. But prior to that, prior to, like, I guess, like... Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be... Okay, so, like, Carla... Cal I have to judge now, because Cal was not on the index prior. He's separate, because it's hard for me to count him as someone on the index. But, for Carla, I'll take off the murder of the guard and the attempted murder of Bobby. You know, I'll just leave the first-degree murder of her boyfriend and the unspecified number of first-degree murders, so nothing changes there. Again, nothing changes with Levy, nothing changes with Noche, nothing changes with Bruno, well, except for the attempted murder on Bobby. But the fact that he did an attempted murder on Bobby, I'm going to assume that he probably was murdering all those people, and it wasn't just an obsession, so that one we're still going to count as he was killing those people. But yeah, so David A. Angar, not counting what he did in this episode, just counting what he did prior to being put on the index from what we know, nothing. Nothing. He didn't do anything. He had tumors, tried to get rid of them, and fucking they put this huge cage on his mouth. So, big crimes, none. Mental state, shown as neutral. They said he was unstable, but nothing showed us that he was unstable. He listened to everything anybody said very naturally. He was not unstable in any way. So, I'm saying neutral. Bullshit on the unstable. And again, he showed a clarity of mind. He went for the gun. He didn't just immediately shout or anything like that. When Phil hit him, he didn't even say anything. He made no noise. He had control. My sentence is, now, I know this might be a bit harsh. I know, I'm crazy here, but, laryngotomy. Take out his fucking voice box. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? They said his vocal cords were exposed to experimental energy blasts. So it's his vocal cords that are doing this. Take out his fucking larynx! What are you doing? How is S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like, this episode, it is infuriating. S.H.I.E.L.D. just like, we can't unscrew this. We don't know how to do a fucking laryngotomy. We don't know how to put this mob boss in a regular fucking prison. Alright, let's go over some more people. Skye, crimes, none. Mental state, unstable. Sentence, I don't fucking know though, because I don't know what's gonna happen to her. We don't really know the extent of her power, so I can't really say. So that one, I can't sentence Skye just yet. Scorch, crimes, murder, suicide. Mental state, well, I mean, that was also, when he was put on the index, crimes, none. Mental state, neutral. Sentence, same as they did have him, just monitored. We know of where you are, keeping tabs on you, but if we're talking about Scorch, not just Chan Ho, whatever his name was, I can't remember the last part. But yeah, if we're talking about actual Scorch, then it was murder, suicide, mental state, unstable, and sentence. I mean, it was a murder, suicide, so nothing. I mean, I can't really sentence the guy who's dead. Tobias Ford, crimes, multiple attempted first-degree murders. I don't remember if he actually did kill anybody, but mental state was unstable, and sentence, I mean, there's nothing we could fucking do. He's traveling between dimensions, but the portaling has diminishing returns, so eventually he's just going to be stuck on the planet, whatever it was, the alien planet, eventually, so it'll work itself out. Donnie Gill, crimes, caused a huge fucking storm. Mental state, unstable. Sentence him for his fucking storm crimes. That's it. That's it. That's it. Didn't need to put him in the fridge. Blackout, crimes, stalking, mental state, unstable. Sentence, restraining order. If he breaks it, follow the law as normal. Put him in prison. If he tries to fight back, fucking kill him. Creel, crimes, killed tons of people. Mental state, super murderous. Sentence, death sentence. Just, yeah, I mean, that one's a clear cut. Creel, death sentence, kill him. So, in conclusion, for the sentencing and all this stuff, S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to act like normal fucking people and destroy the alien shit. That's all I'm asking. Act like normal people, send people to normal fucking jail, or a psych ward, a normal ass psych ward, and destroy the alien shit. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Now, the Inhumans are definitely a new wrinkle with it. Like, before every power was just man-made, which, okay, we'll go over that in a second. I do want to go over, all of that in a second, like just every powered character in the entire MCU so far. But yeah, got a new wrinkle there, but again, maybe if Skye just leaves and goes with them, that she can get it under control. But I mean, if you just don't let them go through Terrigenesis, then they're fine. We flooded the city. It's fine. Like, we have to deal with the people who are still Inhuman right now, but like, it can't happen again. These people, just treat them like normal fucking Index people. Gordon, let's do the sentence there. Gordon, crimes, none. Mental state, I don't know. Kind of a little bit unstable, it seems like, but more or less neutral. Sins, nothing. Nothing. He's fine. He's doing nothing. Reyna, yeah, she's got a lot of crimes. Send her to prison as normal. Then you got, what's her freaking face, Jiang, the immortal. Fine, no crimes, fine. Like, yeah, there's not really what you have to do about a lot of those. They're kind of just fine. You don't need to do anything. They're totally okay. Okay, so I'm going to move it over to this. And let's move this here. So, this is all of the people with powers in the MCU. I mean, more or less. I also am including, like, so because John Bruno was included on the Index, and then we also have Clinton and Romanoff on the Avengers, even though they're not powered, so I'm putting them up here. They're not powered. They don't have anything going on. But yeah, that's their thing. I don't know. They're special because they're fucking special. Then since we're including Wendell Levy in the Index, just being a genius, I had to include all the other geniuses that we have in the series. I'm trying to pick just the actual people that are like super big brain geniuses. I mean, Justin Hammer is like, I'll include him just cause. I was trying to go from, all this thing for each little category here is going from least to most special, I guess, or threat or whatever. But yeah, so we have the levels of nothing going on at all. They're genius. I mean, they got like, special skills, training skills. But then we got the geniuses, the scientist boys, mad scientists. We got just the guys who have suits, Then we have the enhanced people who are like, we have enhanced people through powers, but first off, cyborgs, then cyborg, and serum, then serum is how I sort of am going. And serum is, I'm just using as sort of a catch-all for, I'm saving, like, enhanced dash science for specifically, like, I guess the closest would be, like, Whiplash's suit, But serum is more like science juices and stuff. Sciencey, chemistry and all that stuff. So, yeah, like, we have just people who are just cyborgs. They just have screwed on fucking fingers. They just have a cyborg arm. They just have cyborg body parts as well as the centipede serum and stuff like that. We have Red Skull and Captain America who do just have the super soldier serum and are just enhanced humans. They do have powers. They are, I mean, it's a little bit much to call them powered, but they are superhuman. They are supernatural. Like, everything, past here is supernatural, I would say, in some way. Even if it's through science, it's still more than a normal human can be through tech that we have. I mean, and you could say the same thing about the cyborgs, so I kind of put them there, but either way, it's just because all this is sort of kind of related. They're all just a little bit of enhanced humans. So, then we have the powered people who are powered through, serum specifically. Different than enhanced, Red Skull and Captain America. They don't have any outward powers. They're just enhanced in every way. Whereas, actually, that's exactly what Francis Noche is. Actually, let me put him over there. And that's actually exactly what Cal is. Let me put Cal right there. But, these guys are not. The Abomination, just all the Extremist Assassins, and Aldrich Killian, the Mandarin, quote-unquote, the Mandarin, not the real Mandarin. So yeah, these guys are powered in some way, but it's also through science. I mean, it's basically the same as this, but just more than super strength. Fire, or super monster man. And so then down here are all the people who have actual powers, but they got them through accidents. I have this as accident/science because we don't know how Johnny Horton got those lion paws. Yes, he's on this list because I'm still obsessed with them and I really want to see those lion paw man. But yeah, so these are all people who got it through an accident of science in some way. Then we have the Inhumans, who don't have it from birth. They have to go through a sort of transformation first, but it's the closest we have. These are people who have the potential to be powered from birth, or basically are powered from birth, but you have to unlock it. You're not just born with an ability. Madame Gao, I assume, is an Inhuman, but we don't know for sure yet. Carl Creel, we don't know how he got his powers. We don't know how Stick got his powers. And I know some people are probably going to say, oh no, he's just blind. No, he's fucking not. He does have supernatural powers. We saw it. People also try and tell me that Matt does not have fucking superpowers, so I know people are going to try and tell me that Stick does not have superpowers. But he fucking does. Black Skye, Skies, because apparently it wasn't just the kid, there's multiple Black Skye, and then the twins from Winter Soldier. So, really need to figure out, I'm not sure if we'll ever figure out where Carl got his powers, but the other three will probably figure it out. Carl, I assume it would probably be an accident, as always. I assume that would be the case. But, yeah. That was all of our, that's all the people in the MCU with powers, finally getting to people who have powers from birth, but even then it's not quite the same. But, yeah, it is. I love keeping track of what the different types of powers that we've seen thus far, and, thinking about it from the public's perspective. Because, yeah, I mean, they don't know, like, oh, that guy has powers from an accident. But I'm sure they know. Like, they know that nobody has powers from birth. They know that if somebody got powers, they got it in some way. They know they didn't just have powers. Yeah. So, and even then, a lot of the powers that people have, it's nothing extreme. Gordon is the most extreme we have seen. Gordon is the most powered power person that we've ever seen. Maybe Aldrich Killian as well. Throwing fucking fire blasts and breathing fire. But even then, that's elemental. I don't want to count elemental stuff. That's very easy. Like, we have Donnie Gill, we have Aldrich Killian, we have fucking, do we have another element? I don't know. But either way, like, yeah, the most power people are David Angar and, I just said Aldrich Killian. And Gordon. Yeah. Oh no, Carl Creel as well had a very power. Yeah, he did. But again, we don't know how he got it. Okay. Well, I mean, there's also the twins now and whatever the hell the Black Skies could do. But either way, that's it for my discussion for this one. This episode was absolutely, hands down, far and above my favorite fucking episode of the whole series. By far. And this series, I don't say this, lightly. This series is becoming one of my, I've said one of my favorites. I'm going to say my second favorite series of all time. I said for a long time that Lost was my favorite series, but actually, upon reflection this past, month, I do think that Community is actually my favorite series. And I would now say that my favorite series are Community, S.H.I.E.L.D, Lost. But I don't know. It's also, it can fluctuate. I'm not going to say that it might not fall down. It could rise even higher. Could be number one. But, yeah, I'm not gonna say that it might not fall. But right now, fucking definitely number two, I think. I am in love with it. The fact that I've spent hours and hours and hours writing out all these notes. The fact that even, I do this entire spreadsheet that I don't even really talk about. It's just for me, I absolutely love the series. I hope that you guys will think about, supporting the Patreon, checking out the full-length reactions and everything for the series, because I really think it is worth it. I don't think it's just silence. There's a lot I can't fit into the to the highlighted reaction, and it's not just content of me trying to say something to say something. I do think it's worth it. I think that I put out quality content. But that's it for this reaction. I will see you guys for the next one. I am so excited for it. Until then, get the fuck out of here.